Thank you for joining me today. Do you know what? There are some pitfalls to early retirement, and I'm going to list 10 and possibly how you can avoid them. And to be honest, I've fallen into that trap and probably done all 10 at some point during the time that I did take early retirement. So let's dive in. The vacation holiday trap. So it's great having a little extra payment from your company or your pension company when you retire, and you get a sudden boost of income and lots of time. And it really is very easy just to book one holiday after another. I've done it myself. In the first year or so of early retirement, I don't know how many times I went away, whether it was trips in the UK, trips abroad. I love cruising, and it's very easy to come back knowing that you haven't got to go to work, you haven't got that alarm call, and you can get up and have a browse around. You've got time for scrolling, not just doom scrolling on the phone, but you've got time on the phone to book fabulous trips. And it really, really is easy to watch your money sink faster than the Titanic. That's not really what I want to be on, but yeah, it sinks and you've got to watch out for that. So it is very easy. And, you know, it's nice to have things in the diary to look forward to. Trips away at the weekend, you know, short breaks, anywhere really, seeing friends that live some far away that you never had the time to go and visit. But there is a danger in getting a temporary high on a fabulous holiday stroke vacation for my US and Canadian friends, and and come back and book another one. So be mindful of the vacation trap, the retirement drift. You lose a sense of routine, you lose a sense of structure when you're retired, and you can aimlessly drift along to doing everything or nothing in a day. And sometimes that is a good thing, but there is a danger of just drifting away, and before you know it, months have passed and you've wondered what you've done with the time. You know that old cliche that when you're in work you always think, how am I going to fit all this in? And then when you retire and you're busy for a while, you start thinking, how did I ever have time to fit the things in I like to do? But there is a danger of drifting along without a sense of purpose, and that can creep up, and before you know it, retirement can be a bit dull. One of the really important things, and I think I've found that as well as my husband, and that is a sense and loss of professional identity. It's really important. It's really important when you work. You know, you get to a certain level in life and you've been working quite a while, and I'm one of these people that all the way through my working career I always had this view or feeling that I should be a certain stage at a certain age. Particularly, you know, I'd watch somebody, you know, maybe 10 years younger than me become a prime minister or a senior banker, and I'm thinking, well, I'm not that. I don't have that salary, and I might have these qualifications, but I haven't done what they've done. So it's very easy when you leave work to lose a sense of professional identity, your place, your standing in the workplace. But let me tell you, it soon passes, particularly if you say you go to a busy city like London or New York in commuter time, and you look at the weary faces on the subway and the tube, and then you think, oh, thank heavens I haven't got to do that anymore. So that loss of professional identity soon passes. Spousal suffocation. Yep, for some people, the thought of spending 24/7 with their spouse, significant other, partner is a bit of a bewildering prospect. I had a lovely friend, and unfortunately she's passed, and she was really happy, and she was independent and drove her own car, and she was retired, and she had chats with her girlfriends and had cheese and wine do's, and was really quite independent. And her husband went and spoilt it by saying he wanted to early retire at 60. And yes, did various things, you know, in his own life. But then she said to me, oh, it's going to get under my feet. How am I going to live with him for 24/7? And that's just an issue that you kind of want to think about if you're both coming up to retirement, is how do you spend 24/7 in the same company with somebody? But obviously the plan is not to, you know, give yourself me time. You know, even myself and my husband, we take ourselves off sometimes, and he'll say, I'm going to play records this afternoon, you know, in my room. We have separate rooms. That's another story for another time, but it makes life a lot sweeter for us. But we can disappear into our own rooms that we've decorated to our own taste and not feel suffocated by another's presence. And I go out for a walk, or we do things together, or we might go to the cinema together. But sometimes you just need a break from life, need a break from other people, and certainly need a little break from your spouse to have me time. And me time as a retiree is really, really important. Work friends fade. They do. I've had some fabulous relationships at work. I really have. It's been great. But there is a time when they don't come knocking, they don't come calling. And you can feel as a retiree that the world has stopped and you've got off, and then it continues again at a pace, and you're left behind wondering, where were those social connections at work, where we'd have work Christmas dues, or work dues out, or days off, or bank holidays, or barbecues, and you'd see people around, and then all of a sudden they're not there. You have close friends and you have close family, but the bonds that you can have with your colleagues while you're working, some of them are really special. Others you just say, glad, tutty bye, you're not coming into my life again. But that's not always the case. So there is a significant impact when you lose your work colleagues and they don't come a-calling. But it isn't the be-all end-all, because you can call them, you can make arrangements. They might not, they'd be too busy to think about you and what you're doing in retirement. You know, your job is soon replaced, but then you can go and make the call. You can say to somebody, do you know what, we haven't seen you in 3 months, let's just go for a coffee on your day off. You know, and if they haven't got a day off, do an evening. Nobody's really busy 24/7, and if they are, there might be a reason they don't come a-calling. But, you know, take the time, call them. Don't sit back and think, woe me, why aren't they calling me? You make the effort, make the call, and I think it will pay dividends. The yes man challenge. Yes, if you say yes all the time, you will burn out. If you get invitations to do voluntary work, you might feel guilty that you're inactive and doing nothing, and you should really be volunteering or working in a charity shop. It's all good, it's all philanthropic, but if you keep saying yes to everything, you'll be back in that work mode before long, with no time for a shit shave or haircut, as my mother used to say. But you do need to think about saying no, and it really is great when you reach a certain age and you can say, no, I can't make it. No, I don't want to. It's perfectly okay. It's perfectly okay. We've grown up through our lives saying yes. At work we've said yes. At family dues we've said yes. But when you are a boomer and you're retired, or a Gen X thinking about retirement, you can say no. Don't say yes all the time. You'll burn out. 7. Health hibernation. When I was younger, I went to gyms. I did a dance class every now and again. Not a professional dance class. It was a sweaty aerobic session to music. But you call it a dance class. When you're a boomer, when you're retired, you know, there is an absolute guarantee that you will slow down a bit. Not physically slow down because you mentally or physically can't do it, but you know, that routine of going to the gym before work, that routine of going to the gym after work stops. And there is a danger of hibernating your health away. Until when? So it is, I'm doing another video on this actually coming up soon about how to keep fit and active as a boomer. So if you've got any comments about how you keep fit and active as a boomer, then please, you know, pop them in the comments below. And any comments to related to what I've said so far, pop them in the comments below. And of course, if you do like this video, give it a like and subscribe. You know the drill. And yeah, so don't deny that health. Do something to keep your heart rate up and moving, so you can feel much more in control of your health. Hoarding a wisdom box, collecting the past and putting it away, and thinking about the times that you had and not the times going forward. It is really easy to get caught up and labouring on the good times, spending your retirement doom scrolling, watching, you know, the news 24/7, and thinking that the world is an awful place to live in as an older person. It isn't. You could get that impression if you doom scroll every day, or you lock away your memories in a wisdom box and then forever get them out and think, woe me, woe me. Yes, collect a wisdom box, collect a box of memories, but don't live on them. You know, make new memories, make new friends if you can. It is difficult because your social group will shrink. That's almost a certainty, but you can step out of that, and every now and again visit that wisdom box, that memory box, and think about the good times, and then make a conscious effort to continue to try and have some good times. Delayed gratification. Delayed gratification. This is the one where you've got some money, a little bit more than perhaps you had working, because you might have had a payment from your pension company, and this is where you have a bucket list of things to do, and you think, oh, I'll do that in the future. Woe me, don't. I will touch upon something personal here that I will visit later on when I do a topic around grief and getting over a personal loss. Very, very quickly, my husband got a cancer diagnosis when we'd come back from Botswana after a lovely trip. A month later, and he wasn't here anymore. But you know what? During the 30 years we were together, we said yes to every trip, yes to every adventure. And sometimes I'd borrow to take an adventure. And I was working, so I was pretty certain I was going to be able to pay it back. So whatever you do, you know, kick delayed gratification into the gutter. If you want to do something, do it. And I'll give you a little inkling. And there's a video about this coming along the way. Later this year, I'm going to Antarctica with my husband Damon. I remarried, that's another story. And we're going to Antarctica, my 7th continent. So look out for a special video, or maybe 2 or 3, on that. It's the 7th continent for me, and that is not delayed gratification. You know, my health, my vitality and everything to do with me, that might disappear, you know, when I'm getting on and I'm in my late 70s or 80s and I can't do these things. So delayed gratification is a fool's dream, to be honest. Just get out there and do it, and don't wait for tomorrow. It might not come. Oh my. Yes, ignoring your inner reflection. And that's sort of draining retirement, doing mindless things like doom scrolling, as I've mentioned before, reading the press. Doing the same things every day will become monotonous, and inside of us there are always things that we'd like to do. I always fancied creating a YouTube channel, and now I have, you know, and other times people say, oh, I wish I'd painted, or I wish I'd taken a tap class, or I wish I'd joined a choir. Being a boomer, a Gen X or a boomer, or even I don't know what the word is after a boomer now, but don't put it off. Do it. You can do it. You know, do it with a friend, do it alone, you know, do some solo traveling. There's a video on that coming up as well, so subscribe and like, and you'll see plenty of information about that. That's been an adventure and a half. But, you know, don't dismiss your reflective nature by doing soul destroying tasks and activities, and just being miserable and upset by other people's actions. You know, make your own history, make your own life, bang your own drum, but do it while you can, because eventually, you know, many of us might be eating our dinner through a tube. That's a bit pessimistic, but healthcare as it is and getting older won't be a barrel of laughs, and it doesn't have to be. We have an amazing neighbour who's in her early 80s who outperforms us in every area, socially, wine club, book club, golf, you know, loads of friends, and she was widowed, and but she then started a new life, and it's fabulous, and it's one to be envious of, and we want to be like my friend Teresa. Okay, so that's it, I think, on this one. So I think I've covered the top 10. I'll list them in the comments below of what they are and some more information. But if any of this has touched a nerve, then, you know, comment below and just say how you feel about your retirements going, and I could give you maybe some tips and interesting things about how to pick yourself up if you feel in the doldrums and that life is passing you by. But it shouldn't pass you by. You know, very much part of this journey, us people of this age. You know, we've got a lot to offer. We're interesting people with a lifelong history of fabulous things that we've probably done. And if we haven't, it's still not too late. If you've got some money or any money just beyond the living expenses, which we know are increasing, then find something to do that makes you happy. All right. So listen, thank you for listening to me. There'll be further information coming up in the next video. So stick with me and let's enjoy this journey together. Okay. Bye for now.